We are moving on to topic 4, lesson 5, the Maurya Empire begins. You should have your digital notebook open to page 1, and let's go ahead and begin this lesson.
Lesson 5. The Maurya Empire begins.
The question we are looking to answer: who overthrew the king of Magadha, and when was the kingdom overthrown? So we're looking for 2 answers here, and this is worth 2 points. You will find that answer in this pink highlighted paragraph as it is being read to you.
By the end of the Vedic Age, many kingdoms and chiefdoms covered India. The strongest of the kingdoms was Magadha. Around 321 BCE, a rebel army overthrew the king of Magadha. The leader of the rebels was a young man named Chandragupta Maurya.
All right. Again, who overthrew the king of Magadha, and when was the kingdom overthrown? You will find both of those answers in this pink highlighted text. We're looking for the name of who overthrew the Magadha kingdom. All right, let's go ahead and watch this video.
Ancient India in the Vedic Age was a mix of different peoples living in many different small states run by kings and chieftains. Then, in about 321 BCE, a young hero led a rebel group to overthrow the strongest of those kingdoms. His name was Chandragupta Maurya. Like many young heroes, there are lots of stories about Chandragupta. Was he actually a prince brought up by poor farmers? No one knows. But he did have an older mentor, a Brahmin named Kautilya, who thought he had found a born leader. He helped young Chandragupta raise an army and work out a way to win. Their first target was taking back the northwest and Indus Valley. Only a few years earlier, another young hero, Alexander the Great, had conquered the territory for the Greeks. Now Chandragupta's army defeated the Greeks and he could move on to Magadha. After that victory, he gradually went after the other kingdoms. Chandragupta had more than just a clever strategic plan. He also had strong and effective weapons. One was the Indian bow, which was as tall as a man and could send an arrow to pierce an enemy's shield. By about 305 BCE, Chandragupta had built the Maurya Empire, the first to rule all of northern India, and in just about 15 years. Now the question was, how, as emperor, could he keep control of it? It covered a huge area of land and was home to so many different peoples. And of course there was no kind of communication like telephone or radio. His solution sounds quite modern, like governments today. First, the emperor split up the huge territory into smaller sections called provinces. Each one had its own government. Then he set up a bureaucracy, just like modern governments have. There were officials in every village and province. They carried out the emperor's orders and reported back to him. Finally, he set up a tax system to pay the government workers and support the army. Taxes came from farmers and merchants alike, and like many other ancient rulers, he put his own pictures on coins. The idea was to make all his subjects feel that their emperor was a real person who was looking after them. Not surprisingly, Chandragupta had many enemies. How could he protect himself? The answer was spies. Servants tasted his food, women warriors guarded his palace. Spies looked into everyone's lives. They reported to the emperor every day. In another way, Chandragupta also acted much like a modern ruler in dealing with neighboring kingdoms and regions. West of the Indus River, Greek forces controlled Persia. Would the two empires clash or make peace? After a few battles, the two powers made a peace treaty. The Greek general in Persia gave up some land. Chandragupta's peace treaty gift was 600 elephants. He seems to have followed the advice of his old mentor, Kautilya. In a book of political advice, he had said, "The primary duty of a king is the protection of his subjects." Do you think Chandragupta was a good ruler? Why or why not?
All right, let's continue on with the lesson. On page 2 of your digital notebook, we have the 4 vocab words. The first word is strategy. Strategy is a long-term plan for achieving a goal. Province, territory that is under the control of a larger country. Bureaucracy, system of many government officials who carry out government rules and regulations. And subject, this is a person under the rule of a monarch. You've already looked at these 4 vocab words on your Frayer, so now go ahead and get the definitions put into your digital notebook. All right, let's move on to page 3 in your digital notebook and go to the next page in your e-text. Notice on page 3 in your digital notebook, this first one is a quiz question. The question you are looking for is, what did Kautilya see in Chandragupta? What did Kautilya see in Chandragupta? And you will have that read to you in this yellow circled text right here under Seizing Power. If you are in the textbook, you are on page 159.
How did Chandragupta unite India? Most of what we know about Chandragupta's life comes from ancient writings and legends. Some legends say that he was born into Magadha's royal family, but was left with poor farmers when he was young. Historians may never know the real story. Seizing power. As a young man, Chandragupta depended on the advice of an older, educated Brahmin named Kautilya. Legends say that Kautilya searched for a leader to drive Greek invaders out of northwestern India. In one story, Kautilya saw Chandragupta playing as a boy and knew that he could be trained as a leader.
All right, the question, what did Kautilya see in Chandragupta? Go ahead and get the answer from this circled yellow paragraph. All right, number 2, what did Kautilya help Chandragupta do? You'll find that answer in this next paragraph, this highlighted blue paragraph.
Kautilya helped Chandragupta raise an army and develop a strategy to gain power. A strategy is a long-term plan for achieving a goal. Their strategy was to take control of the northwest from the Greeks and then attack Magadha from the northwest.
What did Kautilya help Chandragupta do? That answers in this blue highlighted paragraph. If you're in the textbook, it's on page 160. Moving on to page 4. The first question we're going to look for, Chandragupta's men were armed with what? We're still on page 160 in your textbook. And if you are in the e-text, we're still on that same page we were on from page 3 in your digital notebook. So again, you're looking for Chandragupta's men were armed with what? You'll find that in this pink highlighted paragraph.
Success on the battlefield. Kautilya trained his pupil well to become a brilliant military leader. Chandragupta armed his men with powerful weapons, including the Indian bow. This bow was as tall as a man. Its arrows could pierce a strong shield.
Chandragupta's men were armed with what? That answers in this pink highlighted paragraph right here. Number 4, Chandragupta figured out how to weaken Magadha's because he saw what? So again, Chandragupta figured out how to weaken Magadha because he saw what? That answer will be in this green highlighted paragraph that's about to be read to you.
A story says that Chandragupta saw a mother scold her child for starting to eat from the center of the plate. She said the center is too hot. So Chandragupta weakened Magadha by attacking its borders, then moved in to take its capital city.
Chandragupta figured out how to weaken Magadha because he saw what? This green paragraph. Number 5. By what year did Chandragupta control all of northern India? You will see that year in this blue highlighted text that's about to be read to you.
Chandragupta conquered Magadha. He attacked other kingdoms. By 305 BCE, he ruled much of the Indian subcontinent. After Chandragupta forced the Greeks out of northwestern India, his Maurya Empire stretched from the Bay of Bengal to present-day Afghanistan. For the first time, one state controlled all of northern India.
By what year did Chandragupta control all of northern India? That answer is in this blue highlighted paragraph. All right, let's continue on to the next digital notebook page. Page 5 in your digital notebook, you'll see there are 2 quiz questions here, number 1 and 2. All right, the first question, which of these actions helped Chandragupta control his empire? And number 2, what is a bureaucracy? So 1 and 2 are both quiz questions. The first one will be in this first paragraph, and the second answer will be in this second paragraph. They are both circled. I'm going to let them both play, and you can answer both questions at the same time.
How did Chandragupta rule an empire? As emperor, Chandragupta faced the same problem as other empire builders. How could he rule over a large area with many different needs and traditions? Building a government. Chandragupta solved this problem by dividing his empire into 4 regions. He divided each region into smaller provinces. A province is a region with its own government. The emperor also set up a bureaucracy, or a system of offices that carries out government rules and regulations. He patterned his government after that of the Persian Empire. Appointed officials in each region, province, and village carried out the emperor's orders. In this way, he was able to control every village in his empire.
All right, number 1, which of these actions helped Chandragupta control his empire? It's very similar to what all of these empires are doing to rule such a big piece of land. They had to do this. Chandragupta was no different. We've learned about this already. So in this first circled paragraph, what did he do so he could control such a big empire? Number 2, we are still on page 161 in your textbook. What is a bureaucracy? You will find that answer in this second circled yellow paragraph. Number 3, how much of their crop did the farmers have to give for taxes? You'll find that answer in this pink highlighted paragraph. And again, we are still on page 161 in your textbook.
Chandragupta also set up a tax system. Tax workers collected 25% of the crops raised by farmers. They also collected a sales tax on goods. Chandragupta used the taxes to pay government workers. He used them to support a large army and his own costly lifestyle as well. This system gave the Maurya Empire an efficient government. However, its strength depended on the power and authority of the ruler. The government was only as strong as the emperor.
How much of their crop did the farmers have to give for taxes? Go ahead and find that answer in this pink highlighted paragraph. Moving on to page 6 in your digital notebook. The first question, what did Chandragupta send Seleucus in exchange for some land west of the Indus? We're still on page 161 in your textbook. You'll find that answer in this green highlighted paragraph.
Connections to other regions. The Maurya Empire also maintained strong connections to other regions. Chandragupta was friendly with a Greek kingdom to the west, though relations were not good at first. After conquering northwestern India, Chandragupta sent troops west of the Indus River. They clashed with the forces of Seleucus, a Greek general who ruled Persia. Rather than engaging in an all-out war, the two rulers settled their differences. They agreed on a peace treaty. Seleucus gave up control of some lands west of the Indus. Chandragupta, in exchange, sent Seleucus 500 elephants. This was the beginning of relationships with many neighbors to the empire. These governments often sent envoys to each other. An envoy is a messenger or representative. An envoy is usually sent on missions concerning relations between governments.
What did Chandragupta send Seleucus in exchange for some land west of the Indus? You'll find that answer in this green highlighted paragraph. Number 5. What freedom did Chandragupta's subjects have no right to? So what could they not do? You'll find this answer in your textbook between pages 161 and 162. And you'll find it in the e-text in this circled yellow paragraph.
Subjects and spies. Chandragupta ruled a vast empire, but he lived in constant fear of his enemies. He had servants taste his food for poison. He slept in a different bed every night. To ease his fears, Chandragupta had specially trained female warriors guard his palace. He set up a huge spy network to watch his subjects or people under his rule. He even hired spies to watch other spies. The emperor set aside time every day to receive reports from his spies. Chandragupta's subjects had no right to privacy or freedom of speech.
What freedom did Chandragupta's subjects have no right to? That'll be towards the end of this paragraph. Go ahead and get that answer now again on pages 161 to 162 in your textbook. Number 6. Did slavery exist in Maurya? That's 1 point. And why were people enslaved? You need that for 2 points. This is in your textbook on page 162 and in the e-text right here in this blue highlighted paragraph.
Some members of the empire had absolutely no freedom of any kind. Slavery existed in Maurya, India. Most slaves were prisoners of war or people who could not pay what they owed. Laws protected slaves from harsh treatment in India, unlike in other countries.
Did slavery exist in Maurya, and why were people enslaved? Those 2 questions are answered in this blue circled paragraph. This picture right here is a picture of Chandragupta. Moving on to page 7. We have 2 questions left. That is it. Number 7 is a quiz question. You'll find the answer in this yellow circled paragraph. What was the purpose of the Artha Shastra? And we might as well look at number 8 as well. What else does the Artha Shastra advise the rulers to do? That would be in this pink highlighted text.
Kautilya's advice. Many of Chandragupta's ideas about ruling came from his advisor Kautilya. Kautilya was the author of a book called the Arthashastra. The book gives advice on how to be a good ruler. The primary duty of a king, the Arthashastra says, is the protection of his subjects. He went on to give more detail about what he saw as a ruler's responsibility. Primary source. In the happiness of his subjects lies the king's happiness. In the welfare of his subjects, his welfare. A king's good is not that which pleases him, but that which pleases his subjects. Kautilya, Arthashastra. On the other hand, the Arthashastra also advises the ruler to do whatever is necessary to keep power. Kautilya says that people cannot be trusted, and he urges severe punishments for crimes.
All right, again, number 7. What was the purpose of the Arthashastra? You'll find that answer in this yellow circled paragraph. This is a quiz question, and it is on page 162 in your textbook. And lastly, number 8. What else does the Arthashastra advise the rulers to do? You'll find that answer in this pink highlighted paragraph.